I then asked them about the skills they look for when they were hiring people into product roles in their organization.
But the skills we look for are, at least some kind of journalism sensibility.
At a high level, I think you want to have somebody who has a good vision for what will be the most useful thing to build.
There's this misconception and myth to a certain extent that to be in product, you have to have coding skills.
Technical, again, I would say if they're fluent, like they have, HTML and JavaScript and those skills and Python, that's top notch, that's awesome. But if not, if they're more of a project manager who just knows how to speak to that language and collaborate and understand that, that's very helpful.
Nobody expects a product manager in any company to go around and start futzing around with the code, because maintaining the code base, deploying code is its own discipline, has its rigor. You're not just going to open up a code base for any organization and start putting changes into the code and suddenly, push it out. That's not how engineering works.
Obviously, understanding engineering and design and business.
Increasingly, the data is so integral to what we do, both on the user side of watching how people respond to things and share things, and do they find us through search and things like that. But the internal data is, I would say, almost as important.
Analytics I think, is probably a universal skill that you'll always see on a product manager job description.
But there's also product managers who have come from design backgrounds and think a lot about, the user experience and the design. And there's there's places that want product managers that have an MBA and that are bringing a really a businessy kind of like your sort of key objective is revenue, and so you need to be thinking about, you're the sort of CEO of the product, is when you hear people say.
You're looking for somebody who isn't afraid of technology, because when you're thinking about new products like voice skills or chatbots, that stuff you're going to figure out along the way.
And then the softer skills are really paramount. The communication skills, the organization skills, that's a real big one.
Leadership skills, communication skills, empathy.
You have to have really good communication and coordination skills, because often you're trying to get information out of so many different people and departments that you have to have a way of bringing them together.
Very good writers, in some sense, can make good product managers because they're able to synthesize inputs, they're able to write a coherent document.
The secret of good product development and good product management is that you have interdisciplinary teams that work together, and that kind of everyone puts in her strengths or his strengths, and together it's more than just the sum of the capabilities of one part of the team.
Leadership skills, like I think even a very junior product manager is really kind of leading a team. Most product managers are working with a cross-functional team.
How do you execute on ideas and get things done is what makes a good product manager.
You have to change in a way. You have to be someone who is constantly questioning, is this the best it can get? Is there, you have to see opportunities, and you have to thrive from this feeling of grabbing them and developing things and changing things.
You want product managers who will question why a product works that way, who are willing to sort of try new ideas out. And finally, the ability to get things done. I think that is ultimately what every hiring manager looks for in a product manager.
As a professor, I'm constantly giving advice to students about their careers. So I wanted to know what these product leaders had as advice for students and early career professionals who wanted to move their career in this direction.
The first advice that I'd give everyone, and that I also give people who ask me, is just do something, start something. I think the worst feeling that I get is when I often talk at universities, am in seminars or workshops or whatsoever, and then I constantly ask, so who has a blog? Who started something together with peers? Who is doing something besides university that's somehow media related?
I did this on the side, or I taught myself to code, or I got really excited about X, Y, or Z, and kind of just made it my mission to get smart about that.
Teach yourself HTML or take some classes or build a few things.
If they have stuff that's out there that they can point to, And again, this doesn't have to be a Washington Post front page story, but it could be a small project or a passion project.
Either where you're working or on your own with a friend or two or something, is try to get your feet wet and do it.
Definitely having coding experience is good. Doesn't mean, again, you have to be able to write code. Nobody's expecting you to deploy and push code out. But if you've done it in the past in some form, even if it's an internship or, just an understanding of how to create algorithms, that's helpful. Having design skills is very helpful. Knowing prototyping tools, whether it's Sketch or OmniGraffle or any of these things, is very helpful.
You don't have to do something that takes you 20 hours a week, but just start something, whether it's a tiny, like a hackathon or a workshop you do together with others, a tiny conference thing, start a blog.
Try to understand the different perspectives of people in your business that you currently don't understand. So spend some time on the revenue side. Think through questions that makes sense in your world as a journalist, and try to make sense of that from a revenue perspective or from a technology perspective.
Pick a product, and by product it can be a website, it can be a newsletter, it can be mobile apps. In any way, define one thing that people use and learn everything about that thing.
You can look at products that you use every day and start to sort of think critically, like, how would I make this better?
Take some design thinking boot camps. We do a lot of design thinking based workshops in our organization when we're thinking about a new product idea or a new opportunity for reaching an audience.
And finally, I asked each person how they felt about the future of product management as it relates to journalism.
Over the last 5 years, there's the emergence of the understanding of what a product role is, what does it do, the need for it, and it's only going to get more sophisticated from here.
I think in the next 3 to 4 years, there will be a huge demand for product managers. That's something that I see. I mean, I just feel that a lot of news organizations who are not that far advanced and ahead of the curve, they are just figuring out that there is something called product development or product management.
I think that idea of a product person who can help corral that and, take all those individual strengths, like you're awesome at storytelling and reporting, you're an awesome videographer, you're an awesome programmer. Like, how do we leverage that into a cohesive whole and then apply it not just to a screen on a computer, which every day becomes a little less relevant, but to whatever comes next.
We have so many different products now, from digital newsletters to other emerging platforms that are just now taking shape. And I think product management is now going to be a role that's added to other types of roles like editors.
The number of people who sort of sit at the intersection of caring about the content, the technology, the design, and ideally the audience and the revenue too are important.
We're going to get smarter as an industry about how do you balance these demands of the news of just being voracious and breakneck with the urge of product to be deliberate and iterative.
And I think that is the future of product management. People will start to understand that in a digital world, we are all keepers of our product. We are all maintaining our product.
I feel that product, and this is something that we see at tech companies like Facebook or Google, who are product-driven companies. I think that this is going to happen to a certain extent to some editorial companies. Probably not overtaking editorial as the most important part of things, but somehow being equal.
Those were some really great insights, and I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. I want to thank all these folks for spending their time and being so generous with their ideas and their predictions and their insights.